Yo, Wagwan, it's that guy. Today we're doing another Dreadication podcast. Today we are talking with Rollerblader, Mr. Chemi, and he will be joining the room quite shortly. And in the meantime, before he gets here, I just want to let you guys know what this show is all about. This is the Dreadication, basically a show highlighting dreadlocks of all different types of people and cultures and online figures that I've come across and just people that I chat with in the community. You know, so really just keeping it flowing that way. What's good?
Perfect.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
Doing good, man. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Pleasure to be here, man. Finally got everything in order.
Yeah, we got it in order. Sorry about that before, man. Sometimes life just gets a little wishy-washy.
It is what it is.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So basically, just wanted to chop it up with you about dreadlocks and the culture and, you know, just who you are, highlighting, you know, anything and everything that we celebrate dreadlocks.
Okay.
You know, so I've done a few episodes. A lot of people that I interview are just like I guess online influencers. I have started this show with rollerbladers because that's where I've found my passion and everything. And I feel like this channel wouldn't exist if it wasn't for me rollerblading. And a lot of people don't even really see that, you know, I am a rollerblader. So I want to really connect with the bladers first that have dreadlocks for this show. This is why I wanted to bring you on. And I don't know, I guess if you wanna go ahead and start and just let us know who you are, where you're from, what you're about.
Sure. Yeah. Well, my name's Chemiati Simiyu. It's pronounced like Jamie with a CH. 27 years old, from Fargo, North Dakota. I guess I'm just a rollerblader. Like, I don't really do too much else.
Yeah,
I'm a
right.
father.
Yeah.
I have a wife.
Okay, family man.
Yeah. No. I'm a pretty regular dude. I don't do too much outside of skating and fam stuff, really.
Right. Sorry, how do you pronounce your name?
Just Cheney is what I go by. Or my full name's Chemiati, but
Chamey.
so like Jamie with a CH at the beginning. So
Okay.
Cheney.
It's definitely a very unique name. I all this time I've been pronouncing it Chemi.
Yeah,
I get that a lot.
Close to. Most people will get it way wrong, but you're like one of the closer people.
Oh, really? So Shamey. Crazy. And what's your heritage? What's your background?
So my dad's Kenyan, and that's where he lives now. And my mom is like a mixture of Norwegian, Icelandic, it's like various Northern Europeans.
Yeah. Crazy. So you're half Canadian.
Kenyan.
Oh, Kenyan. I think they said Canadian.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And how long have you been blading for?
I started skating around 2008, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I went to roller rinks a lot when I was a kid growing up. Our elementary school had like this thing every month where you could get in for free. So that kind of turned into going every weekend with people doing that. So I did that ever since I've been skating since I was a little kid. I started doing tricks and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, like 2008.
Sick.
12 years.
And what's been your favorite part in your skating journey, in your skating career so far? What's your favorite memory?
That's a good question. I guess my favorite thing would be when I initially got on Gods. That was sick because like Frankie Morales is one of my favorite skaters.
Mm-hmm.
So for him to be like, "Hey man, come on the team," that's pretty tight.
Sick. So you're currently riding for Gods?
No, I actually left at the beginning of the year.
Okay. What happened there?
It was more just personal. Like, didn't really like the setup. I had been bumped up to the pro team at that time, and we couldn't really find terms that we agreed on, so I decided to just step away.
Okay.
But yeah, no bad blood or nothing. Just didn't really like the setup too much.
What's that, sorry?
No bad blood between us or anything. I just didn't really like the setup, and it kind of was in a way where it was like be pro or not be on is what it felt like. So,
what sort of material do they use on the God skate on the outside for the skin?
I think it's like leather.
Is it leather or is it plastic?
So.
Like a faux leather.
I think it's like full leather. I have a pair right here somewhere. Let's see. I can let you know.
Well, it's always intrigued me. I've never seen them in person before.
Yeah, so it's like a leather covered. It's a plastic boot, but it's covered in like a leather skin.
Yeah, I was just curious if it was real leather or not.
I think so. I honestly don't know.
You can't tell.
Yeah, I'm not like a quality dude like that. I wouldn't know.
Yeah, it's all good. So tell us about your locks, bro. How long have you had your locks for?
So I tried getting locks actually a bunch when I was a kid, along with just looking up to Frankie and like people always would tell me I looked like Bob Marley and stuff. So I just thought the look was
Really?
cool. Yeah, so I tried with gels and things, and I would just have my sister twist them up, and I'd always end up like getting my hair wet somehow, and it would come out. And
Hmm.
then the ones I have now started in like 2011. I just finished high school, and I started working this job where I worked overnights, and I just couldn't be bothered to comb my. I just like couldn't understand why I cared to like take care of it and stuff. I don't know.
Right.
So I just stopped combing it,
Hmm.
and when I was washing it, I'd stopped using conditioner. I just
Yeah.
genuinely didn't like the feeling of conditioner on my hair.
Interesting.
And then I'd say probably 8 months into it, I started getting like random little twists just here and there. Like it'd be matted up,
Hmm.
but then I started noticing twists probably around the 8 month mark. And then after the first few showed up in the front, all of a sudden they were just everywhere.
Crazy. So you've just went freeform with these.
Yep.
Yeah, you haven't twisted them or you haven't done any of the salon work or anything like that.
No, the most I've done is sometimes I'll like feel them thin or something. I assume from I used to wear a lot of like really tight hats.
Uh huh.
So I would like pull off the ends of them, and then a lot of them are like I think it's referred to as congoed up. You said,
Yeah,
where they're
yeah.
joining. So sometimes I would pull them apart, but I try not to do that very much.
Crazy. It's kind of dark, but are we able to see like how your locks are looking?
I don't know if you can see very good. I can shine a light here too.
Sick. It's funny that you say you get the Bob Marley comment a lot.
Yeah, that's probably the most I get.
Is it just like because I get that a lot too, and like I feel like people just say that because we're mixed and we have dreads.
That's what I think it
You
is
know?
too, man. Just like the light skinned dude with dreadlocks, like oh Bob Marley. I could
Yeah.
see like some, like when you're more athletically built or got a thinner frame as well.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think most of it just comes from the skin color.
Yeah, pretty much. That's crazy. It's cool to see that you're freeforming though, man. I had no idea that they were actually, just natural.
Yeah, they look pretty sick. People tell me all the time that they thought I got them done in salons and
Oh
things.
yeah.
Just nice.
And you never dyed them or anything.
I did add dye
Yeah.
to 3 of them last year,
Hmm.
and I guess dye just doesn't work the way I thought it did. It came out pretty quick, but I wouldn't bleach them or anything. But I did add dye to
Okay.
3 of them.
And how did you find that work? Did it show up well without the bleach?
It did. I went with dark purple, so it was
Hmm.
I wanted it to be subtle anyway, but it was pretty noticeable, I'd say, for maybe like a month and a half, and then it faded out really quick. And if you know what you're looking for, you can kind of still see it in my hair. But
Hmm.
I get why people bleach it.
Yeah, yeah. It makes it that much vibrant. It's also too damaging though.
Yeah, I think it just murders the whole everything
Yeah.
in your hair. I'm not
They
risking
burn.
them.
Yeah, seriously. I've seen people's roots just like burn out
Right.
from the chemicals in there. It's kind of crazy. I remember seeing your footage. I guess it was around the time when you got on the Gods team. And your skating always stood out to me because you're a big fan of the snow skating and
Yeah,
skating
I
out in
like
the
it a lot.
cold, being so far up north. You're pretty much a Canadian living that far up north in the country.
Right.
But like, how do you find skating with dreadlocks? Do you find that there's any issues with it, or is there any moments that you kind of feel like, oh, I wish I didn't have locks because I would be a better skater or something like that?
Um, Mostly I guess in the summertime. So when I wear my hair down, I actually tie it up a lot in the summer, but when I wear it down, my face will get really sweaty and hot. Sometimes it's like, I guess, aggravating,
Mm-hmm.
or it's just like, it feels like my head will be pounding sometimes. But if I tie it back, I don't really notice it.
Right.
And then honestly, I think I hit my head a few times in my life. I think if I didn't have dreads, I would
It'd be a
messing
lot.
myself up.
Yeah, the dreads actually save you a bit. Like they act as a
It was
helmet a
a
little bit.
little bit of cushioning there.
Yeah, I've been there before too, man. That happened this summer to me. I slipped back in the bowl and like my dreads just like bounced my head off instead of cracking my
Exactly.
skull, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's funny that it works out. I find that when I'm skating with my locks, I can't skate with them down. If they're flying in front of my face or anything like that, like it distracts me from what I'm trying to do on my blades.
Mhm.
So I always have to have my hair back, like in a headband or just tied back by like with other dreads. But I've always seen like guys like Frankie like that are able to skate with their hair down, and like that actually inspires me. But I wish I could do it. I don't know how people are able to skate that way. I've noticed with your locks, you wear your hat down a lot when you're skating, so it kind of like keeps them out of your face a bit, but they're
Yeah,
still down.
that's the exact reason why. It's just to keep my hair out of my face.
Yeah, yeah.
For basically the reason you're saying. I was actually been getting kind of irritated with hats lately. Like I'm wearing beanies right now. I'm thinking next year I'm gonna give it a shot, not wearing hats. Cause I've never really been into same as you. Like I always assumed it'd be annoying having to flap around and things. But yeah, next year I want to try it out. I don't know how it'll go, but as far as like the main reason I wore hats was I always worked in trade industries a lot
Right.
early in my skating, so I just picked it up from there and just kept it going. Like it's nice to have be able to see, obviously, but
Hmm.
definitely it looks way cooler when dudes let their hair fly around. I don't know what it is about it, but I get what you mean. Where it's definitely a cooler look in my eyes as well.
And, I know. I was talking with Cameron Talbot about the same, and he was just saying that it's more like just the flow. When you're skating and your hair's flowing freely like that, like it's almost like so much more captivating from the outside. It grabs more attention.
I can see
Um,
that adds personality in there too.
what you mentioned work. You do a lot of trades work. Um, have you noticed like what kind of work are you into now with dreadlocks?
With dreadlocks.
Like I mean, what kind of like job do you do essentially? Because I know
Oh,
that.
so I worked in carpentry for a long time,
Okay.
building custom homes and things. But right now I have, I don't know if it exists other places. It's a company called Fight Squad. I have an independent contract with them.
Hmm.
Basically, it's the same as like Uber Eats, I would say.
Okay.
I don't know if they do the independent contract thing, but it's just a fancy way of saying I'm a delivery driver. I got to pick up whoever they have. So they're a company that makes contracts with local businesses,
Right.
and then they have an app that all the local businesses will be in, and you can place your order in there, and I'll just go pick it up and take it to your house or whatever.
So it sounds like essentially you don't have someone breathing down your neck telling you can't wear your hair this way for work.
No, yeah, exactly. So with the type of contract that I have with them, I think they do also offer an employee one, but
Hmm.
I'm essentially my own boss, so I can do whatever I want, wear whatever I want,
Hmm.
and it's just kind of at my. I give like rating things, so there's that, but I've never really had dreads be an issue as far as employment things. I've kind of had a lot of jobs when I think about it, but
Yeah, yeah, and there's never been an issue having locks
no, not
because
really. Even I have
because
a good amount of tattoos and stuff. I always thought would be a hindrance. Like people always say, like dreadlocks or
yeah,
tattoos, visible
tattoos
ones, things like
especially.
that. Yeah, I've never had an issue with it. I don't know if it's a personality thing or times are changing, but
I think it is more of a personality thing because I remember being told that too. Like, oh, if you get tattoos, you're never gonna have a job, a regular job. But then
right.
when it comes down to it, it's not about how we look. It's about how we perform at the job and it's how we display our personality that really shows like who we are and what we're capable of, not our hair or not our skin, right?
I would agree wholeheartedly. Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah. Um, and with your work, I ask because a lot of people do face discrimination. Going to work with their hair a certain way, their boss is trying to say that, oh, your hair is messy, or you can't have locks here. So I always vouch for people to um, be an entrepreneur if you can at most because a lot of dreads that I've met coming up in the culture, like I guess in Jamaica, everyone's always hustling. They always have a hustle of some sort to make their own money, to not have to rely on the system essentially. Um,
Right.
so I often advise to start some sort of business if you, when you're a dread, and recently I heard about this term that correlates with entrepreneurship, but it's called intrapreneurship. and it's like being your own boss within a company, kind of like what you're doing. Like you have your own say in when you want to work, or you don't have anyone breathing down your neck, but you get the job done. So you have the freedom of an entrepreneurship, but the structure of a job, and
Pretty much.
that's like a really good alternative to being an entrepreneur, and being able to I guess express yourself through the way you want to look, essentially, without having to worry about a boss breathing down your neck. So it's cool to see that um, you found that kind of work placement with your locks, and you don't face any discrimination. And maybe you could tell me a bit more about living in Minnesota, and if you face any sort of discrimination up there at all, whether it's from your hair or just from your tattoos or anything. Like maybe do you have any stories about that, or what's your feelings?
So growing up here, when I was a little kid and stuff, there wasn't very many ethnicities in general besides white people. Like,
Yeah.
because I remember it was like cool and shitty at the same time. Because obviously you're gonna get picked on and whatever, like being a minority. I'd say
Hmm.
until like high school, it wasn't very diverse here, and you'd always just like notice. Like, I'm not sure. I wouldn't go full on racist. Like people weren't in my face, like trying to kill me or beat me or anything wild
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. But, like you notice, like people have judgments about you
Hmm.
before they like even talk to you. And I
Hmm.
don't know if it's because of like what they see on TV or whatever, but growing up, I definitely, for me, I'm the type of person where like you're not gonna get me down, and like I'm pretty confident in myself, and I think it stems from growing up in that type of setup
Hmm.
where I kind of just took it in stride and don't I like in general even today like if stuff happens that I'm viewed negatively, I kind of just not necessarily avoid it, but I'll hmm, I don't know how to phrase it. It's like weird to describe. Like a lot of people, like so, other people of color around me that I know are like, I would say insecure. It's like the easiest way. Like I don't know how else to describe it, and I think it comes from growing up in like a situation where you almost feel like you're less than just because you're different, and people are like noticeably treating you differently.
Hmm.
And I just kind of take that, and I'm just like, I don't know, fuck it. Like I'm not worried about it. It's not that I think I'm special, but it's like
Yeah, yeah,
I understand that I have to live my life and I can't like be defined by what all these other people think about me and stuff.
for sure.
But definitely, like as a little kid, I could see how it's like disheartening. I could see why the state of the world is the way that it is now, especially like
Hmm.
if you don't figure out a way to cope with that kind of negativity, like it's gonna build up and it's gonna ruin your life. So
Yeah, seriously, and you know what? Even having skating as an outlet like really does help in those situations too.
that's
Having
probably why I'm so good at skating.
Yeah,
Is
right.
like I just did that instead of really dealing with people. I just skate my whole life basically.
And you know what? It shows too. Like I watch your edits and your raw footage, and like your persistence and dedication and commitment to like landing a trick at a spot. It'd take you an hour to get the trick, and I'm just watching. I'm like, dude, this dude's skating there by himself in the cold, like trying to get this trick. I'm like, it's inspiring to see that. So you can really see like your personality within your skating itself. It's really dope. What got you? I guess two questions. What got you into dreadlocks, and what got you into skating?
So dreads, I would probably be just like the comparisons and see, and like even growing up before the internet and stuff, you don't see very many people that look like you on TV. So it'd be like
Right.
Bob Marley and Frankie and stuff, just seeing them
Mm-hmm.
and same type of stuff. Just like, wow, they look cool as hell. I want to look cool. So trying to get dreads that way. And then when
Right.
they ended up happening, I actually wasn't planning or trying to get dreads. It was more
Mm-hmm.
just like being neglectful, I guess. I don't know, just little kid stuff. But now having them, uh, I couldn't picture myself without them really. Like I had a shaved head my whole life, and I would say as far as like my image in the eyes of other people, perception wise, like my dreads play a big role to that, along with also skating. Um, it's like a confidence thing, I guess.
Yeah,
It like
yeah.
when you have things that you can identify with and they're positive in your life, I think like that's like the spice of life in a way, or that's like something like anything that builds positive outlook of yourself to yourself
Mm-hmm.
is vital. Like you just need that.
Yeah, definitely. I would agree. And how would you advise people to kind of find that within themselves if they haven't found it yet?
Hmm. I guess a lot of self-reflection. Like,
Hmm.
so with me, I'd say, especially skating and stuff, just being by myself, like you learn a lot about yourself, particularly skating and skating by yourself, like that pursuit to whatever your goal is, like whether it just be a basic trick or just getting out or doing something you've never done before.
Hmm.
Like, it really separates the boys from the men in a way. Like, I haven't always been confident in myself and things like that, but there's just notice how you feel. I gotta pay attention to your feelings. Like I try not to put too much stock in how people make you feel and stuff.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
definitely, like if you notice there's stuff that you're doing that's making you feel bad, like the obvious thing would be to change it. But that's way easier said than done. Like just keep noticing your feelings, and like eventually, like the subtle nuances between the things that make you feel good versus what make you feel bad. Like just keep leaning into the positives and like trying your best to minimize the negatives, and
Hmm.
eventually you'll build something. Like you'll build a better life for yourself, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. What got you into skating?
Um, would be Frankie Morales. I saw,
Like 19.
what was the video? It was the one where the song's "Party and Bullshit" by Biggie.
Yeah,
Uh,
isn't that the it wasn't Juice, was it? No, that was before Juice.
no,
Four? Was it 4-1 or
I
four
think it's
two?
four. Yeah, it's one of the
Yeah,
fours. So
yeah.
I saw that, and it was pretty much a wrap. Like I skated at roller rinks, like I was saying as a kid, but seeing tricks, it never even crossed my mind doing tricks on rollerblades. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, man, I got to get those. And like I was living in Maryland at the time, and my dad had bought me skates that were way too small. They were like adjustable size 2 to 5 TRSs, and like put me in
Okay.
a summer camp that had a skate park and shit. And like, yeah, it was a wrap. Like I just, as soon as I saw it, I was like, I'm gonna do that.
Sick. Did you start on the quad skates at the rinks or on
I know
inline?
I always did inlines actually.
Okay.
They had the option of both.
Yeah, yeah. I had noticed in areas like Maryland and the Midwest, like roller rinks and roller skating is so popular.
Yeah,
And
especially I don't know now. I haven't gone, but when I was a kid, that was the spot. Like
yeah,
every
right.
weekend I went, or throughout middle school for sure. Anyway.
We used to go to the roller rink in my neighborhood, and I would go with my inline skates and start doing tricks on the floor, and they would kick us out because we started like grinding the benches in the rink, and like obviously they don't want that kind of shit going on in there. They're like, this is
Yeah,
not a
that's what
skate
Mark
park.
think of my time there too.
And back then there was no skate parks anywhere. Like it was literally one skate park in the whole area of Southern Ontario. And have you ever been up to Canada?
No, I haven't. It's just crazy because the border
You're
is only
pretty
like
close.
3 hours. Yeah, it's really close.
Yeah,
But
that's
no, I've never been. I have a passport too. I should do it.
yeah, yeah. Once the I know the borders and shit are all closed for driving over, but
Right.
yeah, definitely check it out one day, man. Honestly, it'll probably remind you of a lot of where you're at right now. I haven't been up to Minnesota, but like I've been as far up north as Thunder Bay. Have you heard of this area?
I don't think so.
No, because I know from where you're at, if you go through the border, you end up kind of like this place called Sault Ste. Marie, and then furthermore up north, it's a very northern community that's actually pretty remote from here. But um, yeah, I don't know where I'm going with that. Um,
Okay.
so I wanted to ask you about what sort of products you use in your locks.
Uh, just shampoo,
Like, what kind of shampoo are you on right now?
regular shampoo. Like I don't really put.
Just
I
like
would
what?
prefer to use natural type stuff, but I think right now I actually just use my wife's shampoo at the moment.
Right, right.
It's like Pantene something or something. I don't
Ju-
know. I
Just
just use
whatever
whatever.
is in arm's reach.
Basically, like
Yeah, yeah.
I'll try, but if it's what I got, it's what I got.
Have you ever been through any issues with buildup or I guess like dry scalp or mold or anything like that?
No, I try to keep it pretty dry and tame as far as that. When it gets dirty, I don't actually wash it that terribly often. I get it wet, in the shower, like casually on the daily or whatever.
Yeah.
But I probably only wash my hair like I want to say once a month, but it's probably less than that. I don't wash my hair that often. It's pretty
Yeah,
gross.
yeah.
But I've never had an issue with it. The one thing I don't like is, and you probably have the same issue, but it's really hard. How do you dry your hair after you get it wet?
Yeah, so I'll often aim to wash my hair in the morning, so I have all day for it to air dry. But even then, I'll still use a blow dryer for like
Yeah, you like have to.
45 minutes and a towel
It's
to kind
there.
of absorb most of it, and then I let it air dry for the rest of the day. But
Word.
I can't do it at night. Like I used to wash my hair at night and go to bed with it wet, but I try to avoid that as much as
Feel
possible
like
now.
I don't smell like mildewy if I do something like that.
Yeah, if you go to bed with your hair wet pretty often, like yeah, you might get like some sort of smell coming out of there.
Yeah, yeah, I
So
get a lot of
I
mine.
do you use a blow dryer at all when you're
Yeah, I
after you wash
basically
it?
do exactly what you just described. Like I'll rub it down with a towel, wear it on my head. After a
Yeah,
little while, I'll blow dry it out for a
yeah,
super
yeah,
long time. And even then, and it's always still a little wet, like an all day affair drying my.
yeah, yeah. It happens. Um, I'm the same though. Like one probably every 2 months, I'll wash. Especially as they get longer, it's a bit more of a daunting task because
Yeah,
there's so much more to dry after. Um, so I often say that the length that you're at right now is probably the optimal dreadlock length for people to have because it's long enough to be lengthy but still short enough to manage in a quicker fashion.
I can see that.
You know,
How long have you had your dreads, by the way?
these are about 6 years. This next month.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I've had
Damn, so
so
long.
they've been growing real fast and real long.
Gee, that's
Um,
way longer than mine.
and you're how many years are you at?
It'd be like 9.
9 years?
Yeah, so but I was always like
But
when
you've
I
trimmed them,
early,
right?
no, well, basically it's like trimming, but I would like
Pull it.
pull the thin parts. Yeah, I used to be bad about it early on.
Wow. And I don't know if that's like I know what you mean because I've been playing with my locks sometimes and like there'll be one that's kind of like holding on by
Find
a
that
couple
thin
threads.
spot, dude.
What's that?
You find that thin spot, and it's like
Yeah, and
hard
like
not to play
I'm
with it.
like this could break if I want to pull it out right now, but I have to literally stop myself because it's almost like a nervous tick for me if I want to like pick at it. Sometimes I do the same with my mustache. If it gets too long, I find myself like pulling at it, and it's just like I don't know. I'd rather not be pulling out my hair.
Yeah,
Um,
I would advise against it for sure. Like now, I'm pretty conscious about not doing it, but there was a probably good year or two where it like became a habit. Basically, I was pulling out dreads all the
right?
time.
Anyone ever say anything to you about that?
No, I was actually giving them to people. Like whenever I hear, and like there's still people to this day that'll send me a text rant. Like I don't really keep up with people that much,
Uh-huh.
and it's just the coolest thing to me. Like sometimes someone, I'll just get a random picture, and it's someone like I haven't seen in years on years. It's just a picture of my dread.
Of a
Like they
dread
just
that you
have
gave
it.
them. That's a good parting
Yeah,
gift.
just a little dread piece. Hey,
Yeah, yeah. Maybe start hiding them in people's apartments. You know. What about
what's
I was,
this?
I was gonna ask you about um. Well, actually, I don't know. Do you have anything that you want to talk about with locks, or do you have any questions in general?
Not really. I don't put too much thought into it, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Well, what blows my mind actually, I just remembered was you said you're almost at 10 years, and that literally, I wouldn't have expected that you had your locks for 9 years already. I was
yeah,
thinking
no
like,
one thinks I've had them very long. And most
yeah,
people I meet are like, their dreads are way longer than mine. Like, I'll even meet people who've had them for 2, 3 years. Like, I've noticed people that get theirs twisted and stuff
yeah,
way longer than mine.
huh? And what do you think that's from?
I think my hair, because before I just had an afro and it'd be super curly. So my logic says it's just like if I could comb this out, I think my hair would be probably down to
Yeah, it would be.
past my butt at least. Like, so I think I think when you're twisting, because when I was twisting mine, you're essentially making your hair straight and then just wrapping it around each other and using the product to hold it all together. Whereas mine now is just kind of all bunched up and curled.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think that's why it's so short. But even because yours are natural as well, right?
Yeah, they're
Even
not.
compared to yours, I'm not sure why mine are
And
so
my
short.
my dreads before these ones were interlocked, so they kind of had that pulling effect being happened.
Right.
But I thought that they were growing fast because I was interlocking it, and then when I started doing the freeform, they grew even faster, which I wouldn't have expected.
Hmm.
Um, and
Maybe
then
got a good diet or good genes, maybe. I don't know how it works.
yeah, I feel like it's the genes, if anything, because a lot of people I know that have dreads for the same time. Even I was talking to Richard about his locks, and he's had his for almost 10 years as well. But like I blew past his length like within almost half the time.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
didn't know
all.
he had his so long.
hmm and I have this one here that I combined with one of those crochet hooks. There's this. I don't know if you've seen it, but in Florida, there's this big phenomenon where it's called wicks, and they're
Oh yeah.
basically combining all their locks up into as thick as possible. Have you seen this?
Yeah, I have. I actually like those a lot. So I have things like that going on with my. I haven't crocheted them or anything, but I have a lot of spots where, like right here, is an easy one to find,
Sick.
where it's just like 10 to 15 dreads, like combining
Yeah,
into one
yeah.
big one. And I like the wig look a lot. Like or when I first saw Frankie's from Florida, he kind of had those thicker
He
dreads.
did, yeah.
Yeah,
And
so I'm a
back
fan.
then when he was doing that, like it wasn't even really it wasn't as popular as it is now. It wasn't even really a thing, but that's what was still happening in Florida.
Yeah, it's
Um,
like a whole culture out there.
yeah, big time. Because he used to have the dreads that kind of just went up and all over the place, and
Mm-hmm.
it's fun. It's fun having dreadlocks that are kind of like crazy like that because most people want to have locks so that they can look, manicured and neat and perfect. So to see people really embracing it with like just crazy styles and I guess flashy tattoos and flashy teeth, like I don't know, there's something about that I feel like builds a lot of confidence and just being who they want to be and being them true themselves, right?
Yeah, and like,
You know?
damn, think about it. This is what it is. I
Yeah,
definitely respect that.
yeah, seriously. Um, I was surprised yesterday. You had mentioned that you're a family man. I didn't know that you were a father of two.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know. But
Hmm
I mean, I don't feel like I hide it. I guess I don't talk about it a lot, but I just assume people know because there's pictures.
Okay.
Or
Well, to be honest,
I don't think
I've
that
never seen it. I've never seen the picture, but I think I don't have you on Instagram though. But
maybe. I mean, I mostly use social media for skating stuff. Like if I
that's
wasn't
what I
skating, I
noticed,
don't think I
right?
would have it.
Yeah, that's what I noticed. You're very active on the skating scene.
Yeah, that's pretty much the only thing I use it for. But I think, like on Facebook, I know with Facebook friends, there's like stuff here and there. I guess probably not that often, but I live with them, so I just think I assume it's like a known thing. But if it doesn't get brought up, I guess I don't really talk about it or feel the need to, like, not that I'm ashamed or anything, I just don't
Yeah, yeah.
talk about it.
Would you ever let your kids get dreadlocks if
Yeah,
you
for sure.
decided? Yeah. And would you make it like their choice, or would you want to kind of influence them to do that?
As far as influencing, I would just like let them know what I know based on my experience. But I try to
Hmm
be pretty hands off and just give them like education, and what you guys choose to do with that education is up to
Right.
you. But I
Yeah, yeah.
I gave you everything I could. But I'm pretty big on making sure that they just have the free space to make their own, whether you want to consider them mistakes or
hmm
choices, whatever. Like you gotta be your own person and grow.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Who are you skating with? Who'd you grow up skating with out in Minnesota?
So I'm actually from North Dakota, right on the
Well,
border.
I
To,
just clued into that as I said that. I'm like, wait a second, he might not even be from Minnesota.
yeah, I was living there last year for like a year and
Okay,
a half or something. Yeah, and I live right on the border of Minnesota, like it's like a
okay.
mile away. So it's pretty easy to confuse that one. But growing up here in Fargo, I skated with there's these dudes, Devin Brewer and Justin Rourke. Uh,
Okay.
I don't think they really got too much into the scene, but they're like
hmm
the big dudes that were killing it before me,
Okay.
I guess. And then nowadays, there's people like those dudes still skate, and there's other people that skate, but everyone kind of just got caught up with adult life and it hurts falling and things as you get older. And, like, not everyone has the want, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
to pursue it the way that I do. Like, I just do it because I love doing it like that. Like, but
Yeah.
I get sore a lot and I get hurt all the time. I see the unappeal as you get, especially as people start having children and get
Yeah.
good careers, and you have wives, all these things that, like, it's big deterrent when you have stuff to lose. Like, a major injury can change your whole life.
For sure. And I feel the same way. And now as I get older, like I definitely change my way of skating where um, I'm not as progressive in trying to nail a new switch up or a hammer trick, but I'm really just focusing on dialing in the things that I enjoy, like riding transition, doing spins, doing bigger airs,
There you
doing
go.
the basic grinds that I'm really good at, like the safety tricks, but doing them in a unique fashion or just more stylish or just faster. Um,
Right.
and honestly, still like I'm still trying to learn and do my flips that I know. Like I've always had Misty flips really down, and it's this one thing that I would never want to lose that feeling of being able to do that as I
Right.
get older. So by dialing in on the basics at this age, it allows me to still keep the tricks that I love to do without having to kill myself or break my neck doing something new all the time.
Right. I
Um,
think that's the biggest thing too, is as long as you stay semi on top of it, I think it'll always be there. Like, I think the biggest thing that ruins it for people, so I'm sure you have winter pretty good up there.
mhm.
But people, like, part of why I skate in the winter is I noticed a long time ago when you take those breaks and you come back, it hurts so much more, and it's like hard
Yeah,
to
yeah,
get used to it again, or even want to get used to something like that. Just the
yeah,
pains of growing, like, if it's like growing pains, you might have been done a trick your whole life, and all of a sudden you take 6 to 8 months, you haven't done it, and you remember what it's supposed to feel like, and you know how to do it, and the body's just not there, and,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
breaking yourself back in is so hard. So as long as you stay on top of it, you'll probably always have those.
yeah, for sure.
What's your favorite part of skating? Like, as
Um,
far as, is it tricks or rolling around, grind, flips?
I've always loved grinding the most.
Same.
Yeah,
It's so cool.
ever since I put my first pair of skates on, I went to this industrial area behind my house, and I laced my first soul grind like pretty much first try, and I was just hooked. I'm just like, man, this was the best feeling, and I've literally learned so much from the aspects of just like grinding. Like you could take it as a metaphor in life in so many ways because to learn how to grind, it teaches you to stay committed and to practice. You got to have balance. You have to be able to visualize what you want to do. Like it translates so much more than just doing a trick, and that's the part I love about grinding so much. And then after that would probably be airs, because whenever I dream about being on my blades, I'm always doing crazy, like super slow motion air grabs and just like floating, and that's just something I've never like. You can't experience that unless you're like a pro vert skater or something, and that's like actually really scary to get that high on a vert ramp.
Right.
Um,
You ever
so
skate? You went to the what year is it event, right?
I got to go there last year, and that
Did
was
you
my
ever
very
jump the
first
mini
time.
mega?
What's that?
Did you ever jump the mini mega?
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
How was that?
it was really fun. Probably the best thing of the whole weekend, because you get there and you're looking at it, and it's like it looks pretty intimidating, and you
Right.
see people kind of like crashing on it all weekend. The last day, I finally just went for it. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to be back here for at least another year. I just have to like send each level of the platform. So I worked
Right.
my way up from the first one, the second one, and the third one. I'm only doing straight airs on it, but
Hey, that's a big jump.
it's 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 a lot of fun, man, to catch that airtime, and the tricks that I see people throwing down on it is just like insane to see people doing like cork nines over it and like crazy flips. But it's a lot of fun, man. It is scary because that mega quarter pipe at the end. That's the scary part.
I don't
Because
think I would do it.
because you get over the ramp, which you think is the scariest part. You're like, oh my god, I did it, I landed it. And then all of a sudden you're going super fast and you're going up this quarter pipe, and you think you're just gonna like air out of the quarter and land on top like you normally do on a quarter pipe, but
Right.
you go up like 5 feet and then you just slam down on the deck, and everybody gets that to them. But yeah, I was super looking forward to it this year, and yeah, everything kind of happened, and I was looking forward a lot to Blading Cup as well. I was gonna make it out to for the first time.
Oh,
I don't
you
know.
haven't made one yet.
Yeah, have you been to Blading Cup?
I've only gone to one, and I would recommend it. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, right now with the state of things, who knows what's going on? But assuming it
Mm-hmm.
comes back out, we should definitely go.
Mm-hmm. Same with what year is it, man? It would be cool to see you out there.
Yeah, I was
Sure.
hoping to go this year. I think we had talked previously about it. I was planning to meet up there, out there,
Yeah,
but
true.
hopefully,
Um,
hopefully things shape up here in the next year. I
I
don't
got
know.
I got to meet your buddy Butch last year.
Oh, nice, bitch. That
Yeah,
is tight.
yeah. I like watching his content on YouTube. I think that was
Very
probably one
good
of the
man,
first
dude.
places I started seeing your skating as well. Was through that channel.
Heck yeah! Shout out Butch and Roll, Minnesota.
Yeah, for sure. Shout outs Roll, Minnesota. He's got a little podcast himself going on in the channel. Reactions. So what sort of value could you add? Like if I were to ask you to leave a piece of value for, you know, I guess just life, like a life lesson or something you've learned about embracing yourself with locks, or people that are trying to attain locks for themselves. Like what kind of advice could you give them?
People are mean. You gotta do
Yeah.
your own thing, man. Like the more you can just hang out with yourself and not worry
Yeah.
about what other people are telling you or thinking about you, the better. Like
Hmm.
just spend some time with yourself.
Okay.
And that's all I got. That's
Yeah.
what I
Yeah.
would. That's my number one advice to people is like,
Right.
especially with the way things are now, and all my friends cooped up at home and things. Like a lot of people cannot handle it, and
Mm.
I. And my life hasn't really changed too much with everything, to be honest. If people could be more comfortable with themselves, that's it. Like
Yeah.
you're fine. The way you're living life, if you're cool with the way that you live your life,
Hmm.
live it, man. Like
Yeah. It's good advice. Just kind of be comfortable with who you are.
absolutely.
And a big thing that reminds me of that I often catch myself thinking is that there's no rush. You know, some people might have this vision that they want to be this or achieve that, um, and there's no rush to really get to that point and stress yourself out to be somebody that you're essentially not yet. So
No,
like,
for sure.
yeah, just focusing on being yourself now and enjoying every moment, and accepting ourselves, right? And that's part of when this comes into play is when you learn to accept ourselves and you let your hair just grow naturally, and just being a dreadhead in a sense,
Beautiful.
you
Life's
know.
beautiful when you just accept it. Just
Yeah,
embrace it.
big time. Big time. Sick. Well, I'm gonna have to. We've been going for about 45 minutes, and it's actually been a really good show. And I appreciate you stopping by. I do have to cut this a little short. I'm still on
Right
the
on.
run doing some errands and stuff, but I'm definitely very appreciative of having you on the show and taking the time to come by and just chop it up about anything and everything dreadlocks and skating. If there's anything, final words that you want to leave the audience with before we go, or maybe
Oh,
we could find you on your socials or anything you want to plug, open mic in a sense.
so all my socials are just Chemi Simiyu, Chemi, last name Simiyu. But really, me and a bunch of Minnesota dudes,
Hmm.
uh, Chris Farmer, Jeff Howard, Brett Dastick, Kenji Yee, Michael Darlinghouse, all just came together with Dan Natmiller, filmed and edited, and made a video here called the Crow Video. Just
Okay.
full length. If you want to go to thecrowvideo.com, give it a purchase. It's a really good one. We put like 2.5 years into it. It's easily my best skating compiled. So happy
Sick.
time.
And when did you guys release that?
We just released it probably maybe a month ago. Not very
Okay.
long. It's available for digital download as well as we got physical Blu-rays.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll definitely go and get a copy myself, and
Heck
support
yeah.
the scene. And I'll leave a link to that in the description for anybody else that might be interested in checking out your skating and the crew that you skate with.
Right on. I
For
appreciate
sure.
it, brother.
Yeah, man, no worries. Well, I'll let you go. I'll definitely keep in touch. I hope to skate with you one day, and get some content in person.
Absolutely.
You know,
Take it
yes,
easy,
sir.
Doc.
Yeah, man. Take care. Peace out. One love. Stay happy and Nazi, bro. Easy. Yes, Shemi in the building. So it's always cool connecting with different bladers, different people in the community, and this podcast is all about the Dreadication and getting people inspired, as I say, dreadspired, to be a part of the culture. So definitely hit that like button down below. Leave a link. I'm leaving a link for Shimi. I kept saying Shemi, but Shimi's Shamey, like Jamie, but with the shame. Shamey. I'll leave a link for Shamey's video down below, and definitely support the scene. The Crow video is out now. Until next time, peace out, one love. I'll see you guys later. I'm gone. Adios.
The nation.